Hey everyone, Michelle here from Scrappy Soul Sister. I am here with you today on a layout for my Creative Scrapbook. Now this is using the October limited edition kit, and I am taking on the challenge of working with this paper. Now if you watch my unboxing video, you know I am always a little bit afraid of the more real looking paper that kind of looks already either like a piece of art or a photograph, but I am going to give it a shot. And so I think I'm going to use these photos of my friend Stacy, and I think she took these in Durango, Colorado. And I am also going to use alcohol inks because the first layout I did of the month, I also used alcohol inks, and I totally messed up filming that part of the process. So I'm going to do it again so y'all can see it. Yeah, so that is my plan. Let's get to work. So I am going to use some white cardstock. This is Harmony Hues. It's a heavyweight, I think 110 pound. I got it from my little scrapbook, and I have torn a few sections out of that Simple Stories paper. Here are my pictures with Stacy and some big trees. And so the colors I'm going to be using for alcohol ink is the Alchemy Pearl, Splendor, which is also a pearl, Deception, which is also a pearl, and then Rosewood. There might also be some white in there and some statue. And so this time, the first thing I did was just get a little bit of alcohol solution on my page. Then I dropped some color into it, and then I'm blowing it with my little tool. Now I quickly realized that I just jumped into this without doing a couple steps that I had been planning on doing. So I'm going to go ahead and get this first layer on, but then I'm going to let it dry, and let's finish this part, I guess. So I have the alcohol solution, just adding a few drops here and there. I do add some white, which gives the edges of it a little bit of a pink hue, which I really like. And yeah, so this is what I have so far. And it's a good first step, but I did want to add some white gesso onto my pattern page so that when I did the alcohol ink over there, it would show up more as its true color. And so I'm going to go ahead and add alcohol or add white gesso, and smoothing it out a little bit. And then I'm also going to do a little bit of stencil work. So first I'm going to start with this kind of harlequin diamond shaped stencil, and I'm just using modeling paste. I think the one I'm using is by Golden. And then I did that on the pattern paper as well as in some of my mixed media. And then I am going to add a little bit more texture um, a little bit later. So back to adding some alcohol ink, blowing it around, letting it run around my paper a bit. And I really enjoy this process. And one of the things that I really like about alcohol ink is, as long as your paper is gessoed properly, and I've been doing like a couple coats of clear gesso, uh, but it really eliminates the warping that you can get with mixed media, or at least it takes out quite a bit of it. You don't have to worry about water and your paper pilling or anything like that. So I do add just a little bit of mushroom to this as well. And yeah, just adding and playing with some color. And of course, as always, a lot of this part, particular this bit in the center of the paper, is going to be covered up. And so that last little splatter that you saw was the statue alloy. And so I just like that as a finishing touch. I need to get more of the alloys because this is the only color I have. And so I've used it quite a bit. And I like it. It's a kind of a really, maybe even like a soft gold. And so um, it goes with most things, but it would be nice to have a little variety. So, so I'm getting pretty close, I think, to wrapping up the actual alcohol ink color process. I'm going to let it dry a little bit and take a look at a title. And so I did draw a little sketch for this layout. I don't think I showed it on camera, but it has the title down below, which is different for me, trying to see things in different ways. And so I think about this fall title, and then there's a rub on that I'm thinking of as well. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do my pictures and my flowers. So there is that Raman. I'm sorry, it seems to be falling a little bit off the bottom edge, but it is thankful. It is from the Plum Grove 49 and Market collection that comes in the kit. And so here are my pictures as well. So I change the orientation of the pictures you'll see here shortly. Just feels like portrait would work better. And so I'm backing my pictures with tissue paper, and as you can see, they are now portrait. And I just want a lot of the flowers to cluster under the picture. I'm still trying to decide between fall and thankful, but I go with thankful. And then I am going to just add a little bit of paint on a few of these areas through this stencil. So the stencil has a few different open areas. This one is a bit of a script, and so I'm going to do that in that top left. And then I am also going to add it down below. Oh, actually, yeah, that's right. I was wondering why I was looking at my layout, wondering why I don't see any of that. It's the circle element I decide to use there, and you do see some of that in the finished layout as well. I'm going to go ahead and apply that thankful title down below. And we're getting pretty close to a lot of the background being complete. I just have one more mixed media element I'm going to add. I am going to kind of burnish my rub on. I try to do that just to make sure that there aren't any edges hanging up. And I am using, and this is probably the last time I will be able to use this particular paste. It is from Picket Fence and it is on its last legs. And so I'm using this through this stencil that I just got, and I really love it. I love the edges that are jagged and the little round elements that are in the upper part of the stencil, and I'm looking forward to using that the edge of it too that is has rounded kind of cloudy look there at the top. So haven't used that yet, but we'll figure out an application. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more down below by my title. And then I am also going to take, I think that's the last I do, up a little bit more. I'm also going to take a wet paintbrush and just loosen up some of the areas that kind of look like they were just little jagged pieces. And that will also activate the color in that texture paste. Oh, there's my hair. And um, so it'll make it look a little bit like it's bleeding. So, and after this, I will be done with the mixed media, and we can move on to the pictures and building some clusters. And oops, I lied. One more step, just a little bit of splatters, white splatters. I think that's the only color that I use on this layout. So it's getting pretty close to being wrapped up. Yep, my mixed media mat has gone away, and so on to building the rest of the layout. So here are my photos. Here are my flowers. Now there are a couple of more white looking flowers in the kit, and I sprayed them with a distress spritz, the fossilized amber, just to give them more of a yellow hue. I'm going to apply a couple of rub-ons, the fall vibes up there to the top left, and then I'm also going to do all the spice in that white gap between the big orange flower and the yellow flower. I think that's probably the one I'm getting now. Yep, there it is. I am going to apply thankful and grateful to the right of that big red leaf to the right of the layout. I really enjoy having the rub-ons in this kit. It is I can think of one other time that we got rub-ons, but I really enjoy using rub-ons, so it's nice to have them. And I forgot I did cut out a few elements off of some of the titles. And so I cut off this butterfly, and that is there under the all the spice. And then I cut off just a little strip that includes a butterfly, and that is going to go behind Stacy's picture. Now, all of my pictures for this month have been for other people because I reached out to my friends and said I need some fall pictures. For some reason, I just don't have any to use with my kit this month, and so they all delivered. I did make sure that they didn't mind having some high profile flowers, and nobody said that was an issue. So there's that thankful and grateful that I am putting to the left there. And so uh, this particular layout has a couple of high profile flowers, and I know Stacy gave me like a great idea because usually with mine, I tend to put them in shadow boxes. I've mentioned that before. And she takes them and just adheres them to like a 12 by 12 canvas, like an artist canvas. And so I have been doing that as well. And so it's really a cute idea. It's a little less expensive than doing shadow boxes. And yeah, so there's a thought for you. So I am going to build up my title a little bit down below. I tore a ticket in half there, and I'm just going to apply Harvest Happiness on top of it. And I am going to use that other white phrase, making memories, over there to the right of my florals. Now I decide to add this chipboard piece as a base, and um, I still have the backing on it because I'm trying to decide, is that weird? Does it feel like it's like just in the middle of the forest? But I add a floral on top of it and a word phrase, and I don't know, I think it works. I have a few leaves that I had made for a previous layout, but I decided not to use those. And yeah, I'm just figuring out what I want to add. I think all of the pieces that you see there are going to stay on the layout, though they might be repositioned a bit. I think on this particular process video, I am going to show you a lot of the pieces that I use, but I won't show you the gluing down portion because it stays relatively the same, and that can get a little repetitive um, watching things pieces get glued down. So, but this is primarily how it is going to turn out. So I think here in a moment, you will see everything adhered. Let's see. Yep, here we go. So I have stuck down. The only thing that really changed is just the positioning of the flower up at the top left. It goes right under Fall Right Vibes. And now I took some frills and some other little black beady, or I'm sorry, I think gold and silver beads. I put them in acrylic gel or maybe not acrylic, yeah, matte acrylic gel. And I'm just smearing them in places that I want just a little bit more sparkle and a little more interest. And so that's what that is. So thank you for watching. Check out My Creative Scrapbook. Like or subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Sorry for my hair popping in there here and there. And I will see you on my next video. Here are some close-ups. Thank you, everyone.